So good day everyone. So today we're going to be talking about the ancient Romans. Introducing the team, Yuxel Pandak, me as the historian, ChatGPT as my AI helper, and Canva as the presentation. So without further ado, let's get started. So what we're going to be discussing today is the Roman Empire, emperors after Augustus Caesar, contributions of the five good emperors, decline and fall of the Roman Empire, Diocletian and Constantine, invasion of the barbarians, and the legacy of Rome. So, the Roman Empire. Pax Romana was also known as Roman peace. Under Augustus Caesar, Rome experienced a period of peace and prosperity known as Pax Romana. It lasted for approximately 200 years and characterized by stability and order. Pax Romana's progressive trade flourished, and it was contributing to the wealth of the Roman state, and the common people benefited from this because it improved their standards of living. Augustus Caesar was also hailed as the greatest emperor of the Pax Romana. So more in-depth conversation about Augustus Caesar. He was born as Gaius Octavius on September 23, 63 BCE. He was the grandnephew and adopted son of Julius Caesar. He ruled as the first emperor until his death in 14 CE. He implemented extensive reforms for political, social, and economic stability. The legacy and achievements. He undertook massive building projects in Rome, contributing to the city's grandeur. He promoted arts and literature, fostering the cultural flourishing known as the Augustan Age. So next. Basically, during the Pax Romana, the economy, standards of living, trade, and stability and order were rising up. So don't mind the lower part. So succession issues and civil war. After Augustus Caesar's reign, the lack of defined laws for the emperor's succession led to instability. The Senate and army fought for authority, leading to a civil war. Shift in power dynamics. The selection of the emperor was a responsibility shared by the Senate and the army. So in the end, even though they fought, they both shared the responsibility of choosing the next emperor. On the bottom left, you can see the Senate, the picture of the Senate in ancient Rome. So next. This is the quote of Augustus Caesar, one of the well-known quotes in the world. I found Rome, a city of bricks, but will leave it a city of marble.
I came to Rome when it was a city of stone, and left it a city of marble.
His father also said, Veni, Vedi, Vesi, which means I came, I saw, I conquered. So, emperors after Augustus Caesar. From 14 to 68 CE, the Roman Empire was ruled by four emperors who belonged to the clan of Augustus Caesar. These emperors were abusive and weak. They were known as the Julian emperors. Tiberius, the second emperor, Caligula as the third emperor, Claudius as the fourth emperor, and Nero as the fifth. The Julian emperors in more in-depth. Tiberius, 14 to 37 CE, succeeding Augustus was a capable administrator. However, in his later years were marked by increasing suspicion, and he withdrew from public life. Caligula, 37 to 41 CE, he was initially popular, but his rule became infamous for cruelty and extravagance. He was notorious for appointing his horse as a consul and engaging arbitrary executions. Tiberius as a picture and Caligula as a picture, which is weird, because knowing as you appointed your horse as a consul, which the consul had a great responsibility in Rome, it's just stupid. So, the Julian emperors, continuing, Claudius, who reigned from 41 to 54 CE, he brought stability and effective governance to the Roman Empire. He expanded the empire through military campaigns, including the conquest of Britain. He was a kind of good, but still, his predecessor was not. Nero, 54 to 68 CE, Nero's reign was marred by controversies and acts of tyranny. Notably accused of orchestrating the Great Fire of Rome in 64 CE. However, this is debated by historians. However, we do know that he persecuted the Christians. which some accounts he blamed for them for the fire. And stupidly, he executed his mother, Agrippina the Younger, and later his wife, Octavia. His rule ended in a revolt, and Nero ultimately committed suicide in 68 CE. Nero, I hate this man. He persecuted the Christians.
This video is sponsored by NordVPN. Staying safe online is an ever-growing difficulty and you can be exploited by hackers. NordVPN allows you to change your IP address, making it harder to track and securing your privacy. Every once in a while, I want to watch something that isn't available in my country. So I boot up NordVPN and boom! Now I can finally watch Nut Job on Netflix. Check out the link in the description to get 20% off for the first 2 months. And thank you, NordVPN, for sponsoring this video.
He was like the worst emperor. So this is an actual picture. This is a factual picture. They belong in trash. Okay, so next, emperors of after Augustus Caesar. So from 69 to 96 CE, the Flavian family seized the control of the empire since the Julian emperors were weak. They were Vespasian, Titus, and Domitian. Under the Flavian dynasty, monetary policies were reformed and infrastructures, such as public baths and amphitheaters, were constructed. So as you see in the picture, from left to right, Domitian, Vespasian, and Titus. So next to rule the empire were the 5 good emperors. They were Nerva, Trajan, Hadrian, Antonius, Pius, and Marcus Aurelius. The 5 good emperors era was praised for competent and benevolent rule, adopting a smooth transition of power. It brought prosperity and effective governance, standing in contrast to the earlier turbulent periods in Roman history. The conclusion of the Pax Romana during the reign marked a shift of subsequent challenges and upheavals in the empire. So the contributions of the 5 good emperors. Nerva, he was the first to introduce hereditary succession in choosing the next emperor. He also distributed the lands to the poor and gave importance to education. So Trajan, his contribution was the empire reached its greatest extent during his time. So then Hadrian, he codified Roman law. Sorry for the misspelling. He strengthened the frontiers of the empire and supervised the construction of many public works like the Hadrian Wall in Britain. So Antonius Pius, prosperity and peace were maintained in the empire. No wars, rebellions, or abuses were recorded during his time, which was amazing. So next, Marcus Aurelius. His contributions was he was a Stoic philosopher who promoted the life according to the divine will of God. And upon his death in 180 CE, the Pax Romana ended and the Roman Empire started to weaken. This is an actual representation of the 5 good emperors. They were Chads. The decline and fall of the Roman Empire. Successors to Marcus Aurelius seen as extravagant and weak. Civil wars during succession impacted Roman politics and economy. Frequent Germanic tribe attacks strained Roman borders. Government spent large sums on defense, leading to economic strain, which resulted in poverty and hunger spreading within the empire. Brief revival of the empire under Diocletian and Constantine brought temporary stability. Diocletian and Constantine. Diocletian, born as Diocles, became Roman emperor from 284 to 305 CE. His birth name, Diocles, has Greek origins, meaning glorified by Zeus. Diocletian implemented reforms, including the Tetrarchy and the Edict of maximum prices, while also initiating severe persecutions against Christians. He voluntarily retired in 305 CE, setting a precedent for peaceful transitions of power. Diocletian and Constantine. In 284 CE, Diocletian was appointed emperor. To govern the empire better, he divided it into 2 parts. He governed the Eastern Roman Empire. Maximian, as his co-emperor, ruled the Western Roman Empire. His contributions were to bring back the glory and stability of the empire. He implemented reforms. He raised the number of wages of the legionaries, which are and uh, he issued the Edict of Prices, which fixed the maximum price of products. Constantine the Great. Constantine became emperor in 312 CE, reuniting the two Roman empires. He continued Diocletian's reforms for stability, and over time, the empire's fame and power shifted from Rome to the Eastern Roman Empire. In 330 CE, Constantine moved the capital to Byzantium, present-day Istanbul, Turkey. He renamed the capital as Constantinople, marking a significant shift in the empire's center of influence. First emperor to be converted to Christianity. So, in the invasion of the barbarians, uh, the Roman Empire faced a complete decline around 300 CE due to the attacks of the Germanic tribes from the northern part. Various Germanic groups, including the Visigoths, Ostrogoths, Huns, Vandals, Jutes, Anglo-Saxons, Lombards, and Franks, played a role. Romans referred to these invaders as barbarians, signifying their perception of them as uncivilized. The invasions led to the loss of power for Roman emperors in a significant portion of the empire. Because of these invasions, the Roman emperors lost their power in the greater part of the empire and even lost their influence in Rome. The invasion of the barbarians, basically Rome finally fell in 476 CE when Odoacer, a German warrior and the first king of the barbarians, invaded the city. He ousted the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustus, and this led to the fall of the Western Roman Empire. So basically, it's the decline of Rome. Basically, they were doing good, bad, until they just dropped. So next, the legacy of Rome. The Romans were greatly inspired by Hellenistic culture, followed it extensively. In doing so, certain elements of Roman culture were changed, that resulted to having so-called classical culture. Classical culture is the blending of Greek and Roman culture. Communication and transportation, rights of women, education, literature and beliefs, recreation, arts, architecture, engineering, science, Roman law, and Latin language were the legacy of Rome. Um, Rome's enduring legacy is shaped by cultural renaissance, educational reforms, and architectural marvels that seamlessly blend classical design with modern functionality. A commitment to technological innovation, sustainability, and diplomatic alliances positions Rome as a global leader. Environmental stewardship preserves natural beauty while social justice initiatives and philanthropic efforts address societal challenges. This holistic approach, honoring the tradition while embracing progress, cements Rome as a beacon of influence and prosperity for future generations.